Getting a family of 9 ready for a road trip is no small task. Today, I'm taking you along as we prepare to leave on vacation.
Hey there, guys. I'm a mom of 7, and we are getting ready to go on a driving, fun-filled family vacation where we're leaving from Southeast Idaho and heading down through Utah all the way to Chandler, Arizona. We're going to be there for a few days and drive back up through Utah to Southeast Idaho. And I get a lot of questions every time we do these trips. How do you plan for these trips? And, you know, in everything, we find that if you make homemade or pre-plan your meals, you just save tons, like hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands, because we are a family of 7. So I am kind of doing some groundwork before we go. Some of the groundwork is planning out our menu and our grocery shopping list. And so because I get a lot of questions about this, I wanted to help kind of show you, I'm not even through, I'm still in the middle of this, but give you kind of an idea. When we go on vacations, and little note about myself, I like to handwrite everything. I know there's probably apps and things out there for that, but this is what I like to do. So I write out a schedule of how many days we're going to be gone, and then I break it down between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I also, in conjunction with my menu, have my activity calendar. And then a little note about the activity calendar. Something that we do is we like thoughtful pre-thinking and planning about a vacation. We go on places like Pinterest and blogs. We ask people that we know questions about like, hey, have you been to this area? What do you recommend? And then we just make lists and lists of fun things that we would like to do with our family. Then we take a realistic look at the time that we have, where we're gonna be, locations that we've picked to stay, and then we plan out the different activities that we would like to do while we're on these vacations. We're very much an outdoor family, likes to get outside, likes to see things. We're less of, you know, go to this amusement park or go to see this inside thing, I guess. We like to do outside, so lots of hiking, lots of seeing natural things in different areas we haven't been to. We are gonna go to the zoo, which isn't normally something we do, but we have a zoo pass. And so that is affordable vacation option for us when we're going to other areas. Okay, so I have my activities and then I base my menu on what we're doing. Because let's say we're at the zoo, we need a portable lunch that day. And so I need to know that while I'm making my menu. As I make my menu, again, you'll laugh, but I have more lists, all the lists. So I have a shopping list and I have a packing list. The shopping lists are things that we need to purchase. The packing list might be things that we already have in our pantry or in our freezer, notes about different spices or seasonings that our farm curates and creates, and I want to bring those to bolster the flavor of our meal. Could be things like paper towels, whatever that's food related. I have another list for packing because, again, I have 7 children. I have a baby, I have a toddler, and then I have 5 school-age kids. And we all fit in an NV 3500, which is a tight squeeze when we're all in it together with all of our packed things, which I'll make sure to add to this video so you can kind of see like how we do that. So preparing for a trip for a large family, it does take a little bit of intentionality on my part, but I'm so glad I do. So then in the moment while we're on vacation, I just get to be present. And when someone says, hey, what are we eating? I just grab my list, my food menu list, and I said, hey, we're doing this. I also have little notes, like while we're on vacation, hey, prep this for the next day, that evening, so that it's easy and seamless. So that's what we have. And last list before, last list, what to prep before. I have a day of prep and cleaning before we go on vacation. All right, so there's a little update. I'll bring you along on this journey.
If you've been following along our YouTube channel, you will have seen that usually we like to go camping and bring our trailer with us. And that does allow for a lot of room to pack. However, we ran into a problem this time as we are just going by car. So one of our solutions was to head over to the local Home Depot and get these tubs with lids to be able to put them on the roof rack of our NV 3500. This is going to allow us to carry up to 10 different totes of luggage and storage. So you can see here we're using some of these totes to put in our supplies to take with us, and also our medicines and vitamins and things like that I like to have on hand for a large family. Next, we are going to take our dining room table and divide it into sections for each of the children. They will go up to their room using these laundry baskets, pick out the clothes and supplies that they want for the trip, and bring it down for mom's approval. I check everyone's before I have them then put it in their own tote. As we do have two smaller children, I assign some of the older children to partner up with the younger ones to help them pack for the trip. Now, one day, I hope they'll be able to pack themselves, but that day is going to be several years from now. So it's nice to have a buddy system to be able to teach alongside and then bring it down again so that I can approve it. On our trip, we'll be doing several different things, from hiking to swimming to walking around the town. We're going to have quite a lot of adventures, which means we're going to need quite a lot of supplies. They're hiking backpacks, they're hiking shoes and swimsuits and goggles and short sleeves and long sleeves and pants. So this is why we lay it all out to make sure that we're covering all of our bases before we pack it into our totes and onto the car. As you can see here, we are having a tote go for 2 to 3 children per tote. They are quite a big size. I know we're going to be gone for a while, but we do need to be cautious with how much we're bringing because we'll need totes for other things like food and supplies. Another one of our preparatory things is, since we live on a farm in Southeast Idaho, we need to gather supplies and ready for our animals and the person coming to watch them as we are gone on vacation. It's kind of like cleaning your house before you come home so that you come home to a nice, clean house. Same with the animals. You want to make sure that they have all of the supplies they need: water, food, heat lamps, etc. for a vacation. The day before, or even sometimes a few days before, I try to set aside a good amount of time to prep the food that we want to hand make before we go. I know this is an extra step, however, it does save a ton of money for our family and kind of brings that homemade with ease element to our trip. So I love that about these days. All right, you can see here our totes are getting all packed up and ready, and we're going to be doing the final load the car before we get ready to head out early the next morning. My boys have been instrumental in learning this skill of how to organize and pack a large family, and we are just so grateful to them. You might be able to see on a few of the totes we have labeled them so that we can grab them easily, and we're putting some of the totes towards the back of the van instead of the front. And these totes have like hiking shoes in it and hiking backpacks because on our commute down to our first stop, we want to take an opportunity to do a few hikes, and so we want those to be accessible and ready, as well as the food, like the dry foods and snacky foods that don't fit in the car that we're going to have lunch with. We have that towards the back of the van as well. Another thing that really helps is assigning responsibilities. Each of our older kids, as I have mentioned, has a role in helping prepare for the trip. Some help with packing snacks, others help with gathering blankets and pillows, and someone is usually in charge of organizing the travel basket in the car of what to do. Preparing the house and the farm before we leave is also important. As I've mentioned, we make sure the chores are finished, animals are cared for, and everything is set up so that we can travel with peace of mind. By the time departure day arrives, the goal is that everything already has a place. The bags are packed, the cooler is ready, the van can be loaded quickly. And traveling with a large family can look like a lot of work from the outside, but with a little planning and teamwork, it becomes something really special. These trips give us time together that we don't get during our normal rhythm of farm life. And I hope to show you in the next video where we're headed and the adventures in store. So make sure you subscribe and follow along as we share how our large family likes to travel.